Now we're live.
Welcome back to another Jackrabbit Illustrated podcast, brought to you by our title sponsor, the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. Whether it's tractors, mowers, utility vehicles, construction, or farm equipment, Kubota's got you covered. Now with 9 locations across the state of South Dakota, there's always a dealer nearby. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Jackrabbit podcasts are also sponsored by Culver's of Brookings in Watertown, the home of the Butterburger, Jackrabbit Central, the best place to get your Jack's gear, and the best sports bar in South Dakota, Cubby Sports Bar and Grill. Without further ado, here is the A-Team.
All right. And Chad, you all right? Dallas, you all
Yeah,
right?
I bumped one of my cords. I think it's the one for my microphone, like with my thumb, and it like shook the whole computer. But,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
I was just reacting to him.
I think you guys probably didn't even notice the whole thing shake. But,
I thought there was like an earthquake in Hartford, but yeah,
no, it's just me fat fingering something again. My ape arms.
All right. Well, we're back. The Jackrabbit Illustrated podcast, A-Team playoff edition, and we are definitely coming off a bye, a little rusty here. So even though we had a show last week, what am I talking about? But first, got to thank the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. These two know, and the B team spoiled it a little bit. But I got my snowblower hooked up to my tractor. I am ready, and I feel a little bad because ever since I hooked that up, it's been snowing. We've had snow
thanks, dude.
every day. So
it's your fault.
It's my fault potentially.
I didn't know this.
Like washing your car.
Yeah, right. But
and then you're all like downplaying how cool it was. Like we're all Midwestern dads, except for me, obviously. But Midwestern guys will say, and you're like, yeah, it's kind of some old people snowblower stuff. We're all like, no, man, that's awesome.
No, it's gonna be great. I'm excited for it. So, and again, as I've mentioned this before, I am not mechanically inclined, like in any way. I'm not like Chad. I'm not building a barn. And can even do this. I even got the snowblower hooked up in about 10 minutes. No issues. Got the loader taken off, got the mount on, got the snowblower on, tested it. It's great. I'm excited. Bring on the snow. Let's go.
Hey, how many horsepower is that bad boy?
28, I think. So
nice.
John Colley's on here. He'll correct me. But
that should throw the snow.
Yeah, should be good. So one housekeeping thing before we get started here. The Jacks did get a commitment today, a kicker out of Kansas with a ton of FBS interest. And his brother, I guess, is the kicker at Iowa. Our old friend that used to write for you and I, Elliot Claw, messaged me and said, hey, his brother kicks at Iowa. Great family.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And kind of a fun fact. This is our 4th Jack or Jackson of the class. So that's kind of confusing. So
did I or did I not see? Wasn't there a commit from South Carolina or something that just confused the heck? All right, I'm looking this up. Giving the look that you're giving me, Matt, I'm going to look this up.
Well, we had the one from Alaska.
Yeah, it's who's 100% not a barn for the record.
Well, you guys, I forgot to mention this last week because we had Kevin on. The kid from Alaska. He was like the Alaska Gatorade Player of the Year as a junior and then kind of got hurt this year. But after his season ended, or after he got back from his official visit, he went grizzly bear hunting on this island there, and he killed like a 9-foot bear. I was reading a story about it. What a cool guy. I can't wait to get this guy.
PSA, if you're going to eat bear meat, make sure you cook it all the way through. You don't want trichinosis.
Oh,
Kevin Marshall says Florida. So
we don't have a commit from Florida. Who is it, Kevin? Stone posted the one about that
Lance Eischen. I hope I said that right. Sorry. That's what it would be in German. He's from North Augusta, South Carolina. And I think I did see one from North Augusta, South Carolina. That sounds right.
I'm missing something then. Is this the
I
kicker?
know I'm not making this up.
Huh.
North
Kevin,
Augusta, South Carolina. Boom.
Kevin, nobody cares about JSD. All right, the same as the podcast.
Yeah. All right, I got to check this out. I must have just seen this wrong. My bad.
Rav, how you doing today?
It's okay.
We all make
See,
mistakes.
and Glenda, I'm sorry, Mostic. I'm sorry,
Mostic.
bad eyesight. She says you're not hallucinating.
Thank you, Glenda. I
Okay.
appreciate that. I feel much better now. All right, and this is not
Steve
to make you feel
Anderson's
bad, Matt.
on
I
the
just, you know what? It's
Hutton Grizz. Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm trying to figure out.
all
Interesting.
right.
We
Well-
are just doing live.
Well, we
On
get
air
our this is some
production.
B team stuff here. Well, so while we get this together, how was Thanksgiving? Mine was okay. We hosted, just had my folks up, which is awesome. Got a lot of food, and that was about the extent of it. Nothing crazy. I don't know. And then I spent the last 3 days doing the hockey, the hockey dad stuff, which is pretty fun. We were up. Hudson's team beat a couple of three AA teams, or played three AA teams up in Champlin. And then my daughter's team won like 11-0 over Rochester this afternoon, and she had a goal, so that was awesome. And I don't know, that's my weekend. I will be asleep 9 seconds after we're done recording here. I'm the hockey thing. Basically, you got a tournament and you're up drinking until I went to bed at like 11 o'clock. Everybody else is up till like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And then you're back. And then there's always one dad that finds the bar that's open at 8 a.m. on Sunday because hockey parents know that stuff. And again, man, it's a long weekend.
So Chris Howard is saying that the kicker is.
That's the kicker. I know. Yep, I just saw it now.
All right.
I don't know why I had Kansas.
Dustin had a question for you, Big D.
Thank you. Dustin asked my turkey made it. We had a big discussion. I did way more critical thinking on Thanksgiving before 6 a.m. than I wanted to because my bird refroze in the garage fridge. It was way too cold. So we considered, we had a big FCS Fans Nation discussion. I was going to maybe spatchcock it, let it thaw longer. I actually just put it in frozen, cooked it. I ended up roasting it, did it for an extra 2 hours, turned out absolutely perfect. It was fine. So thank you for asking.
So
There we
it was
go.
funny because, I slept in because I normally get up at like 5. So I slept into like just before 6. That's sleeping in for me. I get up, I'm on the edge of the bed, and all of a sudden, bing, off goes my phone. I'm like, what? This early in the morning on Thanksgiving Day? It was you, Dallas. I was
It was
like,
me.
oh, well, that's an emergency. I get it.
It was. I needed some feedback. I was panicked.
Oh gosh, mine was good. Smoked it in the Gorilla Grill, and it was really good. Turned out great. Happy with it. We just had Kelsey's parents over and her brother over on Thanksgiving Day, but then we've had like 3 Thanksgivings now, so I'm over Thanksgiving, guys. So
I got to speak German, so that was fun.
hey,
Yeah,
there
my
we go.
cousin has a German foreign exchange student, and she was quite surprised how much I knew about Germany. And she's like, well, it's nice to be able to talk to somebody that understands some of the things that are totally different there than here. So it was kind of interesting.
Hey,
We've
there
got
we
a
go.
comment in hockey terms. This is third line. That is facts.
Well, thanks.
Uh,
Even though you're a Grizz fan, we'll put your comments up.
Yeah, we're coming off the bye. Settle down, Juice Master.
Yeah, and
All
I'm
right.
sick, so.
So we're going to get into the bracket a little bit here and talk about these first round games. And hopefully you watched these games from Cubby's Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Brookings. All the TVs, all the good food, all the good drinks that you could ever need. And what a fun way to spend the day watching games. If I lived a little closer to Brookings, I would have been there for sure, checking out the games. So if this weekend, when you come to Brookings, you don't want to enjoy tailgating, head on down to Brookings for some pregame tailgating there at Cubby's, and then come to the game. So check it out. All right. So we're going to come back to Mercer. So let's start with Duquesne and Youngstown. Looks like Mitch Davidson got back on track for Youngstown. Bryce Oliver had a huge game. I believe set the career touchdown record for Youngstown State. So that's awesome. It's going to be a fun matchup with Villanova. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Duquesne, we've seen them twice before, and it looks like they're still kind of the same old program. Some good athletes, but just not the line play. So Dallas, Chad, any thoughts on that?
Nope. You summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, it went as expected. And
Yep.
I think, honestly, Youngstown has this next game, but I suppose we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Hey, Chad, so you picked Richmond over NC Central. You were telling me before the game.
I did, yes.
Yeah. What happened in this one?
Well, Richmond just outplayed them, I guess, especially in the second half. I didn't get a chance to catch the game because I was busy doing some other things. I was just kind of catching the scores, and I just thought they were a better team overall, even though the record didn't really show it, and that's kind of where it ended up. So,
Yeah, it sure looks like one of those games, right, where NC Central came in with a ton of emotion, trying to prove that they belonged in this coming out of the MEAC. But Richmond just really wore them down in the second half. I outscoring them 35-7 in the second half. So pretty insane there. Davius Richard, that everyone was excited to see with this competition, 262 yards, 1 TD and 1 interception, but also had 51 yards on the ground. But Richmond really kind of passed all over them. So just an interesting game there. CAA stand up.
I did. I only caught it just.
He got hurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. What happened?
Is it Richard or Richard?
Richard. Yeah. Sorry.
He moved the ball. He basically was the entire offense because they didn't rush for much more than he had on the ground. I don't believe.
Yeah.
Either. So no, he's basically, when you've got an athlete of that caliber, I know, who the heck was it? Somebody called out that basically, other than 3 or 4 teams, that everybody else in the country is going to, it's Kevin said it. Basically everybody else in the country is going to wish that was their quarterback. Right. And he sure as heck seems like it. Guy was brilliant, but yeah, especially if he goes down, which honestly I didn't catch the game. I apologize. But if he went down, if that's your offense, that's pretty tough.
Yep. All right. Then Nichols versus SIU. SIU took care of business there. Nichols kind of showed they didn't belong. Really a balanced attack from SIU. Their defense played great. That defense, that's a scary defense. I know Brendan was having some discussion with some Incarnate Word fans on Twitter, and and I think it opened their eyes a little bit to how good the SIU defense is. But Nichols didn't belong. The AQ got him in, and that's the only way. So
there was some gripes though by the Southern Illinois fans on Twitter. I saw just about the crowd that was there must have been pretty weak. I saw some pictures, and it looked like, I don't know what they announced for attendance, but that thing was maybe a quarter. It looked, the main side looked like a little under half, and the rest was pretty well empty. There was not many humans there.
Yeah, that's too bad because that's a good team. I like Southern Illinois. I think it's a good team. And, they were, again, balanced on offense. Roe Elliott's healthy, and I think that takes some of the pressure off of Nick Baker, and he played decent, didn't make any killing mistakes. So, yeah.
I think they look good going forward.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. This is a nice matchup. And we'll see, right? Because I think it was you guys that talked about it, maybe B team. We'll talk about SIU and Idaho in a bit here. Sorry. So that it's going to be an interesting matchup, that one for sure. Sac State at North Dakota. Did you guys catch any of this one?
I did, and it looked like if UND had a defense, they didn't bother showing up for most of the game.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. That's pretty much what happened. I don't know how they beat the Bison, because certainly they didn't stop them guys hardly at all.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many stops they had on the day. Couldn't have been more than a fistful.
Yep. I was talking to the Effin Hawks radio or whatever it is, or the podcast up there, and they're starting to question too. They agree with me that they have the wrong personnel to play the 3-4 defense. Like, they don't have enough beef. You can't play a 3-4 with 225 pound defensive ends. Like, you need some big boys to keep your linebackers free there. Sac State rushed for 244 yards on 41 carries, 6 yards per carry in that one. And Caden Bennett had a nice day throwing the ball too. It looks like they finally settled in on a quarterback. And Bennett got all the attempts besides the one that Fulcher threw. The Sac looked good. Sac looked like maybe they figured out what they wanted to be on offense now.
Boy,
I am
Caden-
looking through the play-by-play here, and I don't see a punt yet. Hold on.
Caden Bennett, when he ran with the ball, out of a pass play that went awry, so to speak, that had good coverage, they could not stop him. He was just gone.
I don't know.
I don't think anybody predicted a shootout there, but that's essentially what it was. They'd have got one or two more stops. UND could have actually pulled that one off. They kind of made a push at the end, but I had turned the game off at that point because I had wrote them off as a loss. And they screwed up my bracket. Way to suck, UND. Do you deserve to be in the playoffs? You do this every year to us. Make our conference look bad. Go back to the
that was my big disappointment. Was that, I mean, you got, just as a complete Missouri Valley homer, wanted to see everybody kind of run through the first round. I see. Sorry, just to finish this up, I see 2 punts by Sack. So
crazy.
Yeah, so Juice Master was close, 1 punt. You missed the second one. It was probably because they weren't trying anymore.
Yeah. NDSU took care of Drake in the next game. As expected, was never competitive, although Drake did get off to a 3. So I'm wondering, Drake got blasted by us, blasted by NDSU, blasted by UND. They scored first against us. They scored first against NDSU. Did they score first against UND? If they had the lead in all those games at one point, that'd be kind of funny. So Cam Miller looks good.
Do you see they also made North Dakota State made Sports Center top 10?
I didn't see that.
No. Yeah, there was a great Miller dropped a dime along the sideline. I don't recall who the receiver was. I'm sorry, but it was a hell of a play.
So NDSU fans had kind of a scare. He got hurt and went out of the game, but it sounds like it was just a stinger in his left shoulder.
Cam Miller?
Yeah, Cam Miller. So kind of a scary moment there. I'm sure NDSU Nation collectively held their breath. It was kind of funny. The NDSU accounts all really talking about how Cam was balling out and that the national media need to shut their yap and things like that. I don't think I've seen many national media folks saying Cam Miller's not good. It's their own fans that are saying he's not good. So
truth.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was playing Drake, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. To be fair.
Drake did not score until the fourth quarter against the Hawks.
Ah, shoot.
So they did not lead that game.
All right. Well, they can say they're the only team to lead against SDSU and NDSU this year in the same time. Whatever. All right. Chattanooga and Austin P. So Austin P was supposedly battling for a seed, right? And Chattanooga had a lot of people upset that they were even in this bracket, and they come away with a 24-21 win. Pretty crazy there. Did anyone catch any of this one? I did not catch a second of it. So
I bet Dustin Helton did, but other than that,
I was just going to say, let's turn it over to, we got 132 people watching live right now, which is freaking awesome. Thank you guys. If anybody caught anything, please chime in on that game. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, Kevin probably had something to say as well, but looked like quite the game. One of the closer games in the bracket. So,
yeah, Chattanooga looked balanced on offense. Luke Schomburg passed for 259 yards and a touchdown. Chattanooga ran for 163. So, yeah, whose bracket is this? This is Chad's creative bracket. Yes. All right. So we don't really know, but Chattanooga at Furman should be interesting. We'll see. All right. Lafayette at Delaware. Lafayette kind of choked, right? In this one, they were up big.
Yeah.
Delaware. Actually, I'm going to steal one of Brendan's lines here. I'm going to start calling them Elaware because there's no D on that team right now. So, yeah, Elaware comes away with a victory there, 36-34. So
you're saying take the under in their game against Montana here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, and Lafayette, seemed like they just ran out of gas too.
Apparently, their quarterback got injured.
Yeah, they were injured also. Exactly. That's I saw towards the end of the game. They kept flashing to him standing with crutches on the sideline. So, yeah. probably would have won. I know. But yeah, Delaware versus Montana is going to be ugly, I think. So
I think so.
yeah. Oh, Darren brings up a good point. That strip fumble TD after the interception, that was cool. That was a cool play. Good effort by that Chattanooga wide receiver there to rip the ball away from the defender and then somehow flop into the end zone. So kind of cool.
It's kind of an interesting thing that Tommy Schuster's brother's the backup quarterback at Lafayette, and he came in to fill in when that guy got hurt. So
you guys have all sorts of fun facts tonight. Jeepers. All right. Should we go back up and talk about Gardner-Webb Mercer?
Let's do it.
All right. So
working on it.
Did you guys get to watch any of this one at all? Gardner-Webb Mercer
I
replay
did, and
live?
I still maintain that Mercer's jerseys are red. I don't understand. Makes no sense.
Blood orange.
Well, Dallas, then what did you see on your watch of this game?
I tell you what, solid athletes. I liked Gardner-Webb's quarterback. Surprised there weren't more points scored because even though, the game, it was a defensive battle, man, it felt like one of those offenses, was going to move the ball and get more points than what ended up on the board there. So 17-7, very surprising to me. Let's start defensively. 4-3 for Mercer. I love their secondary. They've got an absolutely terrific safety that's up for the Buchanan. I thought he made some good plays. I think their linebackers fill extremely well. And honestly, either way, this is going to come down to I'm excited for them. I respect them. Our lines on both sides of the ball are going to absolutely destroy them. And I don't think it's going to be particularly, it's going to get ugly real quick. Both the chain gang and the 605 Hogs. That was my biggest takeaway. I tried to kind of look away from that because that's all I could see as I was watching, even in the first quarter, was, oh my God, these guys are going to eat. Because again, great athletes, good team. And actually, let's back up to the selection show. What a feel-good story. Right? Getting their first playoff berth, first win, watching how genuinely excited those guys were. You got a team that's only been around for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, right? I think they quit playing football in one of the world wars. I'm sorry, I don't remember which, but, hadn't had a team in 70 years or whatever it is, only, and then they've been ranked and they break through and they're in the playoffs and that's awesome. But yeah, it's the line play is going to separate here totally.
Yeah. They have allowed 31 sacks this season. 31 sacks, and they have two stud wide receivers, Ty James, Devron Harper.
Yeah.
But they're not. The quarterback's not going to have time. Peavy is not going to have time to get the ball out. And it just those tackles, hoofta. The announcer for ESPN. I don't know if he caught that. I think he must have played at Florida State. Was basically making fun of the left the left tackle for how he was not kicking, not backpedaling. He was just turning right away and giving that defensive end just a really short corner to get after the quarterback. So
yeah, it was bad. It's going to be that way both sides of the ball. And I didn't want to dive into picking on them immediately because again, they good skill position, and then let's also defensively. The other point. They got some ball hawks in the secondary too. I think they had 3 picks in that game, if I remember right. They had 3 picks in that game. Yeah, they've got a ton of turnovers on the year too. I think their take give is solid. So we can get into actually previewing the game later, but those are my biggest takeaways.
And I really like their defensive end. That number 11, I think, is his name. I can't think of it right now. Solomon Zuburu. Extremely
athletic. Yeah. He gets, depending on what technique he was trying to play, but he got pretty deep. Me, I'd run inside that guy all day long.
Yeah, I think that's when I was watching it too. It feels like a lot of inside type of stuff. Let him run up the field and himself out of the play. And
exactly. But great athlete. You're 100% right.
Yeah, on passing plays, I think he's going to be someone that we're going to have to watch, right? If he's not going to be more, or maybe he'll be more disciplined because he knows he's not going to have to, he's going to have to play the run a little harder. So, yeah. He's not an automobile. Well, what's his name? How do you say it? Zubaru. Solomon Zubaru, I think, with a Z. So this should be a fun one. This segment, our preview here of Mercer is presented by Culver's of Brookings and Watertown. Again, 1 o'clock kick. You're going to have time to get to Culver's after the game, get some supper for the ride home. If the Kurterberger is still there, get it. If not, maybe get some spicy buffalo chicken tenders and some fries and some root beer. That's what I'm going with there.
And if you noticed, any Mercer folks that are watching, anybody from Georgia, Matt did indeed say supper. We're in the upper Midwest. We are supper country.
Is it not a 2 p.m. start?
Nope,
No.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, Chad.
That's not what it says on the bracket, though.
Well, that's you and your East Coast bias there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Good golly. I didn't say my brain was working particularly well. Not that it ever does.
I think Seth's telling a joke there with the name, but I don't know.
The Joe Uzuru?
Yeah.
Uzuru. Wow. I just combined Subaru and Isuzu.
Oh gosh.
It's Joe Dotson, okay? 2 p.m.
Joe
Eastern. Yes. Thank you, Rick Jensen.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Rick. All right. So let's make some predictions here.
I'm
All
taking
right.
the Jack over Mercer.
Well, I know, but who's your offensive player of the game? We've done the. Who you pick?
Isaiah Davis.
Playoff Zay, baby. All right.
It's time for playoff Zay.
There we go.
Same. I can't pick anybody else. I mean, yeah, you could say
Amar
the
would
old,
be okay.
yeah, or Omar pick an offensive lineman or two or something. But no, it's
Yeah, it's
Zay's gonna run.
Yeah.
Yeah, he run for $1
Well,
billion,
Zay.
and he could be on the shelf middle of third quarter if we wanted, probably. And
Yeah.
I hate we're probably gonna make the hype video here, but
Sorry. Yeah, I'm picking playoff Zay as well.
Up front on defense, but I think
Yeah.
we still handle them.
Yeah. If they play defense the same way that they've played against Samford and Gardner Webb, those are the two games that I've watched on them. So, all right, defensively, I like what Garrett's doing here. Cade Tavere on defense for me.
I want to choose Quentin Hicks. Can I do that?
Yeah, it's free country, Chad.
All right. I'd like to see Q have a day.
There
You
we
know,
go.
He's playing towards the end of his career. He's been getting better and better all year. I mean, not that he was bad to start with. He just keeps getting better. So
I wanted to go with Cade. Yeah, but I feel like I need to pick somebody different. I don't know. Matt, you gotta Matt, who would your second
whoever plays the left tackle.
Yeah, that'd be Tavere, right?
That would
That'd be
be
Tavere.
Yeah. Pretty hard not to take Travere on that one. Yeah, I will. That's not interesting, but I'll take him too.
All right. Well, and really, I don't know if you guys saw. Did you see the long quarterback run? Right.
Thank you. I was gonna bring that up. Sorry, go ahead. I don't mean to steal your thunder.
Was that safety running in slow motion, or did he get caught in quicksand, or is PV just that fast?
I think maybe not quicksand. Combination of all of those things, though. Otherwise, that was actually 100% my favorite play of the game. That was their second touchdown, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So there are times when you're watching a football game, even though you're not in the meeting rooms, you can see when something came to fruition and they saw it and they went, holy shit, here it is. That happened on that play. Just the way that the defense that they caught them in, the alignment, they motioned that guy out to the outside. So everybody that it's either watching or listening that they didn't catch the game, they took, I don't know if it was a slot receiver or a back or who it was, but they motioned somebody all the way, looped him to the outside out of the play. To the far boundary, so you got trips to the left. They fake handoff to the right. Everybody on the inside bit. It was they were split out. The three wideouts were real wide to the left. There's this giant gap. The quarterback, I guarantee any of us could have run for a touchdown. It wasn't the quarterbacks, dude. It was so open. But again, it was like I was excited watching it because you just know that everybody's eyes got this big because they're like, "Oh my god, we talked about it all week when we practiced, and here it is." And that was it. It was so cool.
Have you
Okay.
seen my wheels, Dallas? The lack thereof.
So Kevin Marshall says that PV did the same thing against Ole Miss. That's interesting. I mean, he doesn't have that many rushing yards on the season, so that's just really interesting. But I mean,
He
that
can move.
safety from Gardner Webb just looked like he was just. Miles commented, we watched it live, and Miles was like, "Why isn't he getting him? Like, what's
He just needs to run faster. Just run faster.
yeah."
Miles, I love that guy.
Oh gosh. All right. Also, one thing to note, as you're watching this, if you didn't watch the game, Mercer does a ton of shifts and trades with their tight ends. Pre-snap, they do the whole thing where their offensive line all put their hands down at the same part in the cadence. It just looks different. I mean, it reminds me of some of the stuff we did in middle school. But I mean,
I was gonna say high school, and then I didn't because I'm like, I don't want to be insulting, but you beat me.
No. It does. I mean, it kind of is like
Old
especially if an
school.
offensive line that's not as strong. Maybe it just, I don't know, gives them some routine. I don't know. Yeah.
It does, and it depends if you're not used to it. I mean, you can get a penalty or two out of that if you're lucky. Just some of the different, some of the different games there.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, they were shifting old linemen around. They have some big tight ends. That 85 is a good looking tight end. I don't know his stats on the year, but he looks the part. That's for sure. So, oh man, I wanted different teams, and now that we have a different team to learn about, I'm not prepared to talk about it yet. So, yeah.
Hey, life happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. All right.
You'll have
score
something
predictions,
in your
guys.
game preview, won't you? So.
Oh yeah, game preview will be ready and good tomorrow.
I like us in the 40s.
Okay.
I'm thinking 42-21. I think they get a couple and get one late.
Okay.
Ooh, that is 42-7.
42-7. And I'm thinking like 38-7. So I'm right there with you guys. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're having Steve Anderson call for a Butterburger.
Ooh, Steve.
We haven't got one all year.
Well, Drake,
I guess. Yeah. That's why I said, well, yeah.
Yeah. Mercer may not score. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They have enough talent. Like they could break one, if our secondary has a miscommunication or something like that. Really.
And like you said, they got some studs on the backside on defense. All they have to do is catch it right, and pick six is not out of the question there.
So I wonder, was just, again, their defense doesn't make a ton of sense to me because Gardner Webb did connect on some deep shots down the sideline, and if the quarterback had put a better ball out there, it felt like potentially it could have, maybe gone for a home run or so. I don't know. They didn't have a ton of safety help on some of those deep shots. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
It wasn't safety help. The receivers, at least the plays, I don't know that I necessarily saw every single play of the game, but the deep shots that I saw, they could create some separation, we'll call it horizontally, right? Like they could create enough room to catch the ball, but they weren't, releasing to the point where they were just going to outrun the corner.
Sure.
At least on what I saw. I don't know if they necessarily had the speed to do that.
Sure.
But no, should we get deeper into kind of a breakdown or what we think the game's gonna?
Yeah, if you'd like. If not, I'm ready to move on to the next. Next.
Go ahead, Del.
Put it
next
behind you.
games.
Well, I had a few. Well, the stuff that I wanted to, I guess, maybe talk about, kind of previewing the game coming up, was the things that I took out of it were, so again, talented athletes. The lines just don't stack up yet. That's kind of a broken record thing that you're always going to hear out of the Missouri Valley anyway. That if I'm Mercer, I think that they've got the opportunity, like if you're going to do anything, you're going to have to connect on a bunch of 3, 4, 5, 6 yard passes and just repeat over and over and over. Spread everybody as wide as you can, figure it out, get the ball out of your hand before Trevere, before Hicks. Any of those people can get to your quarterback. They're in the face. So that's the first thing I do. If you can be successful with that, early. And I don't even think you can do anything like a screen because I think they're going to be on top of him too quick. So it's got to be just a bunch of slants, ends, quick, release the tight end, move people around like you said, try to get those matchups, find a seam, and just get the dink and dunk down the field. And I think if you do that, you can possess the ball for a while, and they can keep it within reason. And then on the flip side, to me, defensively, again, we've talked about they've got some ball hawks that can do that. They're also not afraid to zero blitz. They're not afraid to send people. But if they do that, man, it's going to have to be right. Because if you get a Yankee one-on-one with one of those corners, zero chance either one of them is getting tackled. Right. So that's I think that to me is the two keys that Mercer absolutely can make this a ball game if they're tuned up. And we've seen it, right? They're excited. This is a big deal for them. Huge win for the program. Congratulations last week. So, I mean, we'll see what they can do.
Yeah. So let's just go through their schedule. I should have probably done this before and just gone through this on the air when we were talking about them right away. Opened with a win over North Alabama and then got the brakes beat off them by Ole Miss. 73-7, beat Morehead State, lost to Furman 38-14 at the end of September there, and then beat VMI, beat ETSU, and then lost to Chattanooga 22-10, beat Wofford 31-17, beat Western Carolina in overtime or straight up 45-38, crushed the Citadel. Mercer then beat Samford. That's one of the games I watched, 28-21. That was another ugly game. And then they beat Gardner-Webb 17-7 this last week. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say about these guys. I mean, they have good players. I just don't think they're a complete team, and I don't think their lines are going to hold up. I mean, that's yeah. And Kevin's right. The SoCon has good receivers and corners. Absolutely. But it's going to come down to the trenches in this one, and we have some of the best in the country.
He says we love those twins. They have some good receivers and corners. 100%. Yet one, yes, I do. Two, I'm not saying that they are. Now I feel like anything I was going to say is going to insult them. I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to torch people up the seam. I'm saying that one-on-one, my God, they're hard to tackle. I don't think that those guys, most of them have a chance one-on-one.
I mean, they're built like linebackers, right? I mean,
they are.
They don't go down real easy. If you catch their feet, you can tackle them, of course. You can't run without your feet, but if you're just trying to upper body tackle them, you're going to bounce off 9 times.
I want that on a shirt. You can't run without your feet.
You're welcome.
Here.
Oh, gosh.
Unless you have blades for legs, anyway. Then don't shoot into my bathroom, please.
Chad. All right. Let's move on to some other games here. Yeah. That's funny. All right. Villanova Youngstown. Who you guys taking in that one and why?
Well, Youngstown, because I think they're just the better team overall, honestly. They've had a lot of close games where they maybe should have won. And we've seen Vanilla. Wow.
Vanilla.
I'm sorry. I'm struggling today. We've seen Villanova come to Brookings, and, we're ready to be impressed and never quite got there. And I don't know that this team's as good as those teams were.
Yep.
I think their league's just not all that this year, potentially. And I think Youngstown handles business, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, Dallas, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, dude.
No, I did pick Villanova in my original bracket here over Youngstown. But Youngstown looked good. I mean, they just, with Davidson getting back on track and just the balance they have on offense, that could give Villanova some fits. The one thing, Villanova's quarterback I'm just seeing here passed for 2,300 yards this season, 19 touchdowns. If you're going to beat Youngstown, you got to pass the ball. And that secondary kind of stinks. So, I don't know. It's at Villanova, but is it really a home field advantage? Our games there tough? I don't recall when we were there, a couple of years ago with Old Doken. So
interesting comment here by Youngstown. He says YSU is 3-0 versus Villanova in the playoffs and 3 games decided by 1 point, 3 points, 3 points. So he figures it'll come down to a field goal either way. So it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, I wouldn't mind
Doesn't look
bringing
good.
Youngstown back to Brookings, but I'd love to bring Villanova here too. I like to see new teams in the playoffs. Nothing against Youngstown, but
I
yeah,
think Youngstown gives us more fits if they come to Brookings than Villanova might, because they see us every year.
yep.
Yeah, exact same take. I'd like to see a different team just for the heck of it. I think Youngstown's probably the better team in this matchup here. I don't know. I'm not convinced Villanova can move the ball based on who they played this year.
Yep. And I think Sam Herder had some stats though about seeded teams and the records over the last couple of years. It's the seeded teams that have the bye and the rest have done pretty well the last few years, if I recall correctly. So, yeah. Want to scroll down, Chad?
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry.
You're okay. All right. Richmond versus Albany. Dun, dun, dun. Interesting. I picked Albany in this one. I like their defense.
Yeah, Albany's been playing real well.
I mean, yeah, the just general FCS brain trust has been on Albany just about all year. I haven't watched a ton of them, but I mean, I got to think that they're going to roll here. I mean, they thumped. They would have played Villanova. I think they thumped them pretty good, didn't they?
Yeah. So Albany did beat Villanova 31-10.
There it is.
And they beat William and Mary real bad, 24-8. So, other than that, I don't think they didn't, obviously they didn't play each other this year, or else that'd be a good indicator for us, but they did not. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Head-to-head results is a good indicator, Matt.
I do love their mascot, the Great Danes. That's pretty cool. I can get behind that.
Yeah, I like the spiders.
Or the fighting Scooby-Doos, as Dustin Helton would say.
Yeah, I think Albany, we're all on that. So, all right, Idaho SIU. I'm excited to talk about this one. SIU, like our offense is very similar to what Idaho runs. I believe Brendan and Borg brought this up, or was it the B team? I forget. But what Eck wants to do is get the ball in his athletes' hands, right? With a lot of those quick screens, bubble screens, things like that we've seen before. And SIU has the athletes on the outside on the boundary to stop that, and they're good tacklers. So I don't know. I really do like SIU in this one, but that's who I ended up picking in my bracket. Idaho's still kind of new to this playoff stuff. And yeah, I think even with the cross country flight, this is my upset for this round is SIU.
And I want to see Idaho and Brookings so bad, but I'm inclined to go with you there. But I think I'm going to pick Idaho just because I would like to see them win. I'm going to go with probably a 5-point game at most. I don't think that it certainly isn't going to be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm curious to see just how a team that's kind of new to success here, Idaho, right? We know that Eck's a good coach. We know that he brings a lot of interesting things offensively. I'm curious to see, how they handle a Missouri Valley team coming in. It's such a streaky team too, right? Like how often do we talk about what Southern Illinois team is going to show up?
Yeah.
Because we just don't know. But, they are somebody that, they get backed into a corner. I think historically they're a very tough playoff team. They're tough out. So no, you're not wrong, or you're not too far off base picking the upset here. But I'm going Idaho just because I want to see him come to Brookings.
Rev, this has been in my mind ever since when I started filling up my bracket too. But I just can't get out of my head how SIU's defense looked against us. And they look damn good. Like they matched up really well with us. But then that same team got the doors blown off them by NDSU up in Fargo. So yeah,
to me, it's still, you've got a team with a ton of transfers that you compare athlete to athlete, right? You send everybody out to run 40s and bench press and long jump, and they're going to compete with absolutely everybody, but can they come together as a team and do what needs to be done? And we don't see them gel on a consistent basis, but they can beat anybody.
Yep. Okay, so Kevin Marshall asks, should he go to NDSU at Montana State?
What? Yeah.
Or should he go to SIU in Idaho? What's everyone
I say go to the Kibbe Dome. And what I want to point out is the youth on the offensive line at Idaho is something that can be a factor for them and has been. They've lost some games this year they really shouldn't, in my opinion. And for me, that makes me doubtful. Like you, Dallas, I'd love to see him in Brookings because I think there's a little revenge factor there, So you know what I'm saying. And SIU, them guys can be dangerous. They got, as Stone would say, they got all the talent on the back end. They got the athletes that nobody can hang with, but they got a stud wide receiver and a stud quarterback. There was some question as to whether or not Giovanni McCoy's healthy, 100%. That would be a factor as well, for me. But I think I got to pick the Karen dogs on this one.
Ooh, all right.
Dogs. All right.
Malone. All right, hold on here. We got anybody else want to chime in and answer Kevin's question here? So Kevin,
sure.
Fans Nation Radio, FCS Radio, he wants to know if he's going to go to NDSU at Montana State or SIU at Idaho. So anybody that cares to vote, we got a couple come in here. Go ahead and vote in the comments. We'll read them off and let them know.
Yeah.
At FCS Nation Radio 1. Why don't you just put up a Twitter poll, dude?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to involve.
I think the Kibbe Dome would be fun to go with once and, go over and get obnoxiously drunk with Chris. Or
right.
Get obnoxiously drunk.
But he's been there to quite a few games this year, right? Because he's always posting pictures from the corner club or whatever. So.
Oh, that's right. I'd go to Idaho because I've never been there. But
there we go.
Me too.
All right. So next up we have Sacramento State at USD. What are we thinking in the Carson Camp Bowl? What are we going with?
The Carson Camp Bowl. I would love
giant meteor for the win.
I would love to see Sac State win in front of the 300 fans that show up.
Ooh.
I know they're new to this. It's gonna be a rough crowd for everybody. I don't think we're gonna have a giant crowd either. So Go ahead, take pot shots at our attendance as well. But at least we play football and outside as God intended, and not in a giant waste treatment facility. I think it'll be interesting. But boy, Sac looked good against UND, who played at USD tight.
Yeah.
But the strength of USD at this point has been their defense, right? So that kind of goes against the track meet style game that Sac State played versus the Undies. So I don't know. I really want to see Sac State win because I just don't like South Dakota. And yeah, I'm willing to put my college rivalry pettiness on full display. Not as much a rivalry as the other one, but still there's some old stuff there. So
as much as I'd like to join you there, I don't. Sac State, just nothing has impressed me all year outside of the start to the season with the win there with Stanford. But I'm gonna go. I gotta go USD by 9 points probably. I don't, coming off of a bye. They're at home again. At home, don't have to travel. I don't think it's going to be an explosive game either way. USD's got a defense. I think they win by a couple scores.
Yeah, and what kind of tips the scale for me is UND rushed for 221 yards. Gavin Zebarth had 96 yards, a 5.3 average, and 2 touchdowns. Travis Tice is a way better running back and their offensive line's better than UND's, in my opinion. So I think USD is going to control the ball, run down the field on them. We'll see if Sac's offense can score some points again this week. So, I think USD's got this one.
Dustin, USD hasn't had offense a lot in the second half of the year, but their running backs were really good at the beginning of the year. So if they can get going, like Matt's pointing out, and Tice does run different than Z-Barth. He's more of a pound dude because he's a big dude, right? And
Z-Barth is
little, yeah, and Tice isn't little, but I think that he can have success.
Yeah, they're both physical runners. That's my point. Like Tice is a physical runner, even for a small guy. So, yeah. And Isaiah Smith, too. I mean, he had 9 carries for 81 yards, 9-yard average. So, it didn't really matter who UND put in there. They were getting yards.
Ooh, here you go. Here it is, Matt.
Uh-oh.
There it is. Right there.
I'll put tacos on this one. All right.
How many tacos are we talking? How many tacos? We gotta come up with a number.
I mean, it's gonna be down in Frisco. I'll bet 5 tacos, 3 for me, 2 for my wife. So yeah, down in Frisco there.
Oh, you're confident. There you go, Dustin. You taking the 5 taco bet, then 5 tacos. There is a really good taco joint just like down the like boardwalk from the local.
All right. Deal, Rev. Deal. Perfect. All right. Next game. Montana State at NDSU. This is the one where we want the giant meteor, right?
I was gonna say, you said at NDSU. Wrong.
Oh, sorry. Jeepers. I'm so used to that. Yeah. All right. Dallas, you talk on this one first then.
Oh, I don't want to. We took my giant meteor bit, and that's all I had for this one. I don't know.
God, here's what I think. If Montana State figures it out and plays more of Chambers as a quarterback,
not going to happen.
I don't think so either. I don't get it. I mean, we have their fans in our mentions saying that, he fades. Well, it's the end of the year. Let him fade. He's done well all year for what little he's played. He just has dirty pictures of somebody on his phone or something. I don't really get it.
I mean, what that last game, I'm really struggling to get what Montana did to Montana State out of my head in the last week of the regular season there, especially with how Cam Miller and Cole Payton are running the ball from the quarterback position right now. And how Cam's passing it too. We can't take that away from him right now.
Oh, it is 100%. You've got one team that is, I'm trying to, the mirror on my screen is screwing me up here, but you've got one team that's going up and to the right, and the other one is going down and to the right. I don't know how you could possibly not. I'm sorry, Parlay. I don't know how anybody could take Montana State in this, looking at the way these two teams have played at the end of the season. And it kills me to say that I am the most anti North Dakota State fan there is. God, the rivalry is so fun. But yeah, I admit they're playing well. I don't know how you pick against them.
Yeah, Montana State gets 3 points for home field advantage, and I just don't think that's enough. NDSU's been playing well. And yeah, how cool would it be if NDSU lost twice to USD, and then we end up mollywhopping them later?
Yeah,
I don't understand the mollywhopping that Montana put on Montana State either, other than Montana State's ran out of gas at the end of the year, or we were just not playing that well at the first game. I mean, we all kind of thought that, right? That we played not great at all in that game and still came away with a win. Luckily, because of review, whatever you want to say about that, it was the right call in the end. But yeah, I'm curious what Mr. Lowney thinks about this. I mean, obviously he's picking his cats, but I want to know why. Like, what's your reasoning?
I think the home field advantage. It's going to be loud in there. We know that atmosphere is electric.
It is.
And NDSU, I mean, they came to Brookings. They handled the noise well. But other than that, like the Lara Center, they looked awful. And really, they didn't look good on the road against us either. So, I mean, that's a good reason right there. I'm taking Montana State right there. So
there you go,
okay.
Maddie.
I would like to see Montana State win, but I don't know. Yeah, Kevin says who has NDSU been playing? I just
It's fair.
you can't
Yeah,
you can't apologize for the performance that they put on the field the last few weeks and that they played who they played, and it sure looks like a team that's getting it together at the right time to me.
Yeah, but they blew the doors off Southern Illinois. They were up big against UNI, even though their defense did give up a lot of points and a lot of yards to UNI. Even with, them just continuing to make mistakes, throw interceptions, just to be a mess, UNI was. So, all right, I'm going with Montana State. That's my pick here. All right, Furman and Chattanooga. What do we know? What do we want?
Well, Furman was apparently one win away from getting the 2 seed, so they're supposed to be a salty team. But because their quarterback got hurt, right? Is he back?
Should be back, wasn't it? That's what they were saying.
That was the understanding that I had.
Yeah.
And in that case, I think I'm taking Furman. I'd F you all day. Let's go Furple.
Huff, right?
Yeah.
Huff. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Going with the Furple. I did not catch the game last week. I will watch it this week 100%, be flipping back and forth or watch the replay, whatever. But excited to see what they bring because this is a conference. They were 1-2, right?
Yep.
I believe.
Yep.
So, okay. Yeah, so you had conference matchup, familiar teams. Yeah, give me Furple.
And Furman did beat them 17-14 in early November here, November 4th. So that's something to pay attention to. Did Huff play in that one? Not sure.
Mr. FCS Nation Radio, KP Marshall here says Huff's supposed to play, and the chat quarterback probably will not. So, got to think that's a factor.
Yeah, you got to think Furman takes that one then. So, yeah. All right, next game, Montana versus Delaware. What are we thinking?
I mean, give me the Grizz. I don't think the fighting Joe Bidens get it done on the road here, even if they get a private plane from, I don't know, the owner of the Patriots or whatever they flew with.
Right.
Give me the Grizz and the under. Don't even care what the line is.
Yeah, Grizz are going to smash them. So I thought it was interesting. One of the beat writers for Hero Sports tweeted during the game that it was time for Delaware to replace Manny Hernandez as defensive coordinator. And a lot of the players and former players of Delaware reacting strongly to that. So he kind of put him in an awkward spot. That's why you don't tweet when you're angry or upset, I guess. But that defense, Montana's going to just crush them. We've seen Delaware in the playoffs. Their defense stinks. So, yeah.
Yeah, Delaware, they will do it again and not have any D. So we're all going Montana on that one, right?
Yeah. Yep. Hey, and so all of those predictions there were brought to you by Jackrabbit Central. Hopefully on Friday you got to enjoy the Black Friday deal there. If you missed it and you're still looking for your Christmas gift, get to jackrabbitcentral.com, or this weekend or whenever you get to Brookings, stop in the downtown location or the Student Union location to pick up your Christmas items. I know my kids and my wife have definitely picked a few things out this year that they absolutely love, and going to have that gear stocked up and ready to go for a deep playoff run, and hopefully we'll get to see it down in Texas. So, yeah.
And like Steve Anderson says, cyber deals start at midnight, so this could be your last chance because I don't think they do touchdown Tuesday in the playoffs, do they?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, we should have checked with that. Shoot. All right. So this weekend, tailgating, right, starts at 8 a.m., bright and early. It's going to be decent weather, 40 degrees, 42 degrees, better than last year, at least for the playoff game. I thought it was interesting that Mercer and Gardner-Webb game, players from both sides were all wearing sleeves, and I think it was 60-degree weather down there. So that 40-degree weather is going to hit a little different.
Yeah, I don't know what the wind forecast is supposed to be.
10 to 20.
Difference. Oh, that's pretty light.
Yeah.
I mean, for them it may not be, but for us it is.
Yeah. Oh, Darren says bring your cowbells. Yep, those are always fun in the playoffs. So, tailgating, book club. Chad doesn't know what they're having. We're just doing some chili
Beer.
at our spot.
Lots
So
of beer and pudding shots.
hey, there we go.
Bring your dollar bills, get a pudding shot, donate to Alex's lemonade stand if you haven't already. And we've raised a couple $100 both weekends, so that's been fun. I'm getting some flack from Ben's crew. Him and Jesse Royston say I don't put enough rum chata in the mix, but
Yep.
I told them they can pay for the extra half a case.
Oh gosh, awesome. All right. Yeah, I did see that's another thing too. That time thing is interesting for the Idaho game. Mr. MP. Yeah, 10 o'clock Eastern kickoff for Idaho versus SIU.
How great is that for a football fan, though, to be able to watch that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to watch late night football, which is great. I do like that.
Yep, for sure. Dallas, we will not be seeing you this weekend, you said?
Nope. Kids got out of town stuff, so.
All right. Well, good. Thanks everyone for joining us. Had 140 people for most of the show. So that's awesome. Thanks to everyone from outside of the SDSU fan base that joined us. We're still learning as fans ourselves about these other programs. Look forward to learning more here the next couple of weeks. So please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff that you always do. And really appreciate your support. With that, go big, go blue, go Jacks,
buddy.
Go Jacks.